It's your boy Jurassic Junkie with a hot new take of gaming's long con. That's right, and also I apologise. I don't know if the mic will pick this up. My stomach is making odd noises, so if you hear all the way through this video, sorry, I can't control my stomach at the moment. So you'll be sat there going, what is gaming's long con, Jurassic Junkie? And I will tell you, don't you worry. I'll set you up with this one, but we need to go back in time first, so sit back and Uncle Junkie will lead you through the long con. So I think we can all agree gaming has degraded a little bit over time. There's still some gems, there's still some fantastic games, but on a whole it kind of feels like it's going down a little bit because of predatory practices and things like that. But let's just jump back to when gaming first had its kick up the bum and its first explosion, and it was during the arcade era. Now, yes, there was games prior to that, but there was quite basic paddle and ball. But you could get hold of a form of a console prior to that. But the thing is, arcades is where it exploded. And I remember going to arcades and absolutely loving them as a kid. And the thing is with arcades, arcade games even, they're different to today's games. And it was designed that way. And the difference is, they was solid. They was very, very hard games. But they was designed that way for one reason. So you had to put another coin into the machine to get another life and to continue. Now imagine if they did that nowadays. Play the game, but you have to keep buying lives through microtransactions. You would have all gone, fuck off, man, we ain't doing that. But we did in the arcades because we had nothing to compare it against. If you're in an arcade, what do you compare it against? Well, there's a jukebox, I need to put money in to play that. There's a pinball, I need to put money in to play that. And there's an arcade machine, I need to put money in to play that. And obviously, you do need to pay because you're not buying the machine, you're just paying to play a little bit of time. You could be definitely angry if you bought the machine and had to pay for lives. Kind of like today's games. But nonetheless, looking around, comparing, that system operated like all the other systems, like the pinball machine. So when we compared it, didn't seem like a scam. And I'm not saying it's a scam neither. Like I said, I understand they built the machines, they made the games, they put them into the arcades, they need to have the upkeep of them, and our contribution is 10 pence here and there for lives. That is fine. But the point is, gaming then fizzled out of the arcades and it turned to home consoles. And to start off with, home console games was quite difficult because they had taken these games and put them on these tiny little boxes, and it was still very, very difficult. But over the years, the difficulty level found that sweet spot. It's not too easy, not too hard, pushes us, makes us get that reward centre glowing when we've completed a level, and that is the dawn of good gaming. That's the era of good gaming. So we've been fine. And every so often we get a new generation of consoles and graphics get a bit better and the games get a bit bigger. But at the same time, the studios get a bit bigger, and that's one of the problems that we've got. So now let's talk about this generation. These games have become more and more popular and they're making more and more money. Originally, you would have looked at gaming and gone, that's a fraction compared to what movies make and books make and music makes. Now, games is bringing in that much money. They're just a contender with the others now. And the problem is these studios have grown. And I've spoke about why studios tend to fail from time to time because they get too big, and when it gets too big it's hard to manage the money, and the people that are in these studios are small cogs, and when they get a budget they don't go, oh, I'm going to look after this budget because this is my budget. They're like, I don't give a fuck, it's the big man's money. Yep, I'm just going to buy the most expensive bunch of assets for the game, or I'm going to buy a really expensive chair to sit in and a super expensive keyboard because it's not my money. But back in the day, in the glorious days, they had smaller teams. So that budget, they actually looked after. They weren't like, oh, I don't care. They were like, it's my boss's money and my boss is right there on the other side of this screen because there's only about 4 developers here. So you looked after your money. So this is one of the things. Studios get bigger, more people, and then those people don't quite care about the budget and they overspend, and next minute the companies just spend millions of pounds on these games and they need to recuperate it. So now we've got things like DLC, season pass, microtransactions, even subscription services to a monthly subscription to that server of what you're playing that game on. So there's lots of different ways for them to scrape back in more money. And I'm not going to poo on everything because some games would cost millions. Look at like Red Dead, or I would even say GTA, because Red Dead, very, very nice game, but GTA is a very, very big game, but also it has the licenses for the music, and GTA is also a part of the music. Like the GTA radio stations, fantastic, absolutely love them, but they cost a lot of money as well. So every so often a game will come along and they've gone, look, we've gone for a big map, we've got millions of assets, lots of things going off, lots of music, it's cost us a bomb, so we're going to try and recuperate it back with maybe a couple of microtransactions. But then they have gone off a bit too crazy on the microtransaction end. But still, the point is, some studios do justify potentially asking for a second helping of your money. Some of them do. Majority of them probably don't. So, where's this long con? What are you talking about? What are you trying to get to, junkie? Spit it out. So what we're going to talk about then is, let's just break the demographic of gamers just into the age brackets, into 3 brackets, and what we have is 29% of gamers are now under 18, 32% are 18 to 35, and 39% is 36 and above. So they're all around 30, so let's just call it a third. We've got third under 18, third in the middle, and third the dinosaurs. Hello. So it's very, very close that it's a shared pot now, it's a third. And the problem is, as these practices change, we've grown up, well, I say we, if you're in the 35 and above or 36, whatever it was, then you've gone from the arcades, you've gone through the Dreamcast, the Game Boys, all the way up to where we are now, and you can see how it's changed. You have a comparison, you can compare it with other things and go, this isn't right, this isn't as good as it used to be. So we're the ones that kick off. When EA do something stupid on Star Wars, it's not necessarily the 14-year-olds that are going, let's bring them down, because they don't know any different. It's us that going, this is disgusting, and we rally behind a thing, protest, and everyone's like, let's bring them down. Don't get me wrong, some of the younger kids will then jump behind it going, oh, I've never had a pitchfork before, this is cool, is this a lynching? So they do get behind it, but the point is, it's the older generation that has to control it. But this is where the problem is. The people in the first bracket, the under 18s, are only at a maximum 18, and they could be younger. So let's say top end, they're 18 years old. That means 14 years ago the 360 launched, because that was out in 2005. So they would have been 4. So they wouldn't have been gaming at that point. And I think a lot of us can agree, in the 360 and like the PlayStation 3 days, there was some good gaming there. Towards the tail end, that's when we started seeing things like, not Season Pass, what was it? Online Pass. That came, we squashed it, it died. Fantastic. But the point is, the early side of that generation, there was some absolute beautiful games. There was lots of beautiful games prior to it. But the whole point is, that era when gaming was good, they was at best 4 years old. Majority of them aren't even been born yet. So they can't compare to that age. We can. Now the problem is, they're now playing games and they've grown into an era where microtransactions, DLC, all of this is the standard. So we can sit there and go, oh, look at this like Fortnite and all these kids playing it and playing all these microtransactions. What a bunch of idiots. They're not idiots. We went to the arcades, and I'm not saying the arcades are a one-on-one comparison. Like I said, the arcades was justified asking for money because it was a different service. Everything was free, and we had to just continue to put the coins in. But when we put them coins in, we looked around us, and we went, jukebox and pinball machines all operate the same. This seems okay. And we was fine about it. The point is, the under 18s are doing the same now. They're playing things like Fortnite and going, this game's for free, and I don't have to buy a season pass or whatever it's called, but I would like some V-Bucks, mum and dad, because all the other kids are doing it. And let me just compare. Let's have a look around us. Yes, majority of games now are potentially free, and they want microtransactions, or I have to buy the DLC or the season pass, and the games that are coming to us aren't complete anymore. I buy a bit of it, and then I will buy all the other bits and piece it together later. So they're only comparing it with what they can see around them, and it's not very good. So we can't point at the kids and go, it's your fault, because we've kind of allowed it to happen this way. So this, to me, is what the long con is. We've pushed back occasionally. We kicked off when EA did the thing with Star Wars. We definitely squashed the online pass. Good things. But we squashed one, 3 more come back up. And if you stand back now and you go, all of our rallying behind these bad practices, has it fixed anything? And I would go, not really. It's fixed one or two problems, and a couple of developers have had their hands burned and gone, oh, right. Just wait 5 years, we'll forget about that, we'll do it again. And I feel like that's all that's happening. And the reason for it is the long gone. All they need to do is run out the clock. If they can do another 5 years or potentially 10 years, that 30, what was it? 29%, call it 30% because I'd like it like that. But anyway, that 30% of gamers that are comparing it is going to then go into the other pot. So they will be the middle brackets, and they will be like, yeah, this is fine. And the news generation will come into this terrible state of gaming, and they'll go, yeah, this is how it's always been. So as the dinosaurs, we're going to fizzle out. Our number, which is at 39%, is going to drop constantly now. And we are the ones that know how good it was. So the point is, the long con is not us trying to go, stop it. They're just going, okay, right, we'll stop for a bit, do a bit more, because they want to push it just for a couple more years, because it would then become the standard for all the new gamers and the gamers that jump from one bracket to the next bracket, and then it becomes the norm. And when it's the norm, you don't get much pushback, because everyone will be like, this is how it is. So we, as the pot 3, as I'd like to call us, don't make it sound as very old, but as in pot 3, we really have to push back as much as we can. When we see a bad practice, we either rally behind whatever's going off, or we don't purchase it. We go, right, you don't get our money, because that is the only way you can injure them. If they go, right, we've just done this, and sales are shit, and they'll go, we'll probably try it again later. But then if we go, no, we're still not buying it, then they'll go, right, we've got to change our tactics, because we want the long con. We want to be able to make this the standard for the next 5-10 years. But if we're not around in 5-10 years, it doesn't matter. So we need to threaten them with the money. And also, got to help some of the kids. They're not born with gamer parents. So a lot of kids are playing games nowadays, and their parents didn't. So the parents can't say that's right or wrong. And the kids are going to school and everyone's going, this is the standard. So they're just accepting it. So anyone that is a gamer parent, it is your duty to make sure when your kids play games, you go, that's bad practice, because this is how it was. And don't get me wrong, if I was playing games and my dad came in and went, bro, it was better when I was a lad, let me tell you how games was, look at this 2 pixels, you'd be like, fuck off, granddad, this is all about gaming. We're going to get pushback from my kids, don't get me wrong, but I want to get my daughter Jessica into good games that are complete and self-contained, where you go, you've purchased this thing, go play it. When it's done, pop it on the shelf or sell it, do what you want. There is no more buy more to keep going, buy this to keep the service online. None of that. I'm going to be like, nope, you have none of that, because I want her to know what she should be wanting out of gaming. And if more people do that, we've got a slight chance. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen. I think we might have lost this war. I think it might be a bit too late for us now, but there is no harm in pushing back and not buying these predatory games that are coming out and encouraging your kids not to do so. I know it's going to be hard. If Jess was like 14 now and she'd be like, I'm all on that Fortnite, I'd be like, it's hard to say no, because all the kids at school playing it too. But we're going to have to educate and teach them, and hopefully time she gets to the age where she's playing the hot new thing that all the kids are playing, she'll be like, that's shit, because my dad taught me right, and I know what a real game is, and I'm playing that fucker. Can't you tell? Bags under my eyes. I'm playing a grinding game by myself. So yeah, that's it. That's my hot take on the long con. It's something that I've just been mulling over in my head, going, maybe the reason every time we push back, the reason it doesn't get fixed is because they're running out that clock. If they can make it the standard for the next generation, we've fucked it. So that's me done and dusted. I'm going to leave you there. It's a sad tale, isn't it? You may have sat there with your bowl of cereal. It might be night time. You could be eating a kebab for all I know, and you sat there going, what's this sexy bold man on the internet got to say? What's his hot new take? And you walked away going, I feel a little bit depressed now. Thank you, Mr. Junkie. But it's got to be said, hasn't it? So that's me done and dusted. I am out. And that's my door. What's Junkie going to do? Because he normally runs out the clock. I don't know. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. My kid made it. Oh, I'm gonna put on an iron shirt and chase the devil out of earth. Now you're looking at a wall, and it could be a metaphor for your life, couldn't it? Look at the black and the white, the yin and the yang, the bad and the evil. What does it all mean? It means you should eat your Ovaltine. Oh, look at that. That's a reference from Christmas Story. That's very good, isn't it? Right, I'm going, because you're taking up too much of my time. Stop it.